Hey everyone, it's CJ, and thank you for stopping by this morning for another episode of Objection Celebrity Court Chatter. We got a little bit of a late start this morning, but y'all, I was so sad last night with this new case. I'm gonna do a special episode on Friday. A lot of people have been asking to do something a little bit later because it's too early Pacific time for them. So I'm going to be doing an episode Friday on Rebel Wilson because y'all, how did I miss this case? It is literally so similar to Blake Lively's case, and it is a rabbit hole. I spent like 4 hours last night. I was up so late, way later than I should have been, deep diving this case. Oh, I did not post on X, Laura. Thanks for the reminder. But yeah, I was yes, Rebel Wilson. I was so sad. Like, I literally looked at the clock. It was 3 in the morning. I was like, okay, I need to get to bed because I've got to stream in the morning. But it is crazy. She just had a lawsuit drop this morning, which we're going to cover on Friday, by a UK company that represents her production company for her latest movie, and they sued her. But then it's like a rabbit hole that is so crazy. I'm gonna have to unpack it all on Friday. It's insane. She basically sues her producers because she wants like writing credit and stuff. Well, she doesn't sue them first. They sue her because she puts out a video basically saying that um that they, there was SH in the while filming or whatever, that they SH the lead actress. And it reminds me so much of Young Lily and stuff because the lead actress is like, that never happened. And I remember how like Blake tried to get, allegedly, where's my banner? Let me put my banner up. I remember how Blake, was talking about, there's other actresses and all this stuff. And yeah, so the main actress is like, no, nothing ever happened. And yeah, it is a crazy, crazy rabbit hole. So she ends up talking mess about him on Instagram. They sue her. And then, yeah, it's just like a whole mess. Like, it was because she wanted writing credit. And I'm going to have to dive deep into sorry, I'm going to have to dive deep into the documents. Hey, Gigi, how are you at the beach? Sorry for the late start. At least I was up late researching. And yeah, I overslept. I didn't hear my alarm. So um, I apologize. I know y'all's time is valuable, and I promise to start on time, and not stay up. So send Blake to a third world country. We're gonna get into Blake. Um, where is it? Why is it? Oh, right here. Send Blake. Thank you, Chris, for showing up. I seen you around. Thanks for the support. Um, we're gonna get into Blake and what's going on with her, because it seems like some content creators are gonna be submitting letters today um, to sanction Ezra Hudson. So it seems like they thought they could just quash those motions, and everything was gonna be over with. Oh, there she is, Miss Leanne. Let me bring Leanne on stage. I was like, she's working on her letter. I'm glad she got to stop by. Hey, Leanne.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Glad you made it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, look at Gigi. I'm up early. I'm gonna need you to be my third, fourth alarm. I overslept. How are you this morning? I know you're getting very little sleep too.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, it's been a night again. But I finished my letter, so that'll be going in today.
Nice. I was wondering what was going on with the letter.
Yeah, giving it both barrels, all 3 pages of, I'm not happy with Blake Lively or her lawyer for that matter.
So, did you end up filing a protective order as well, or is this just? Tell us a little bit. Can you give us a sneak peek?
Sorry, there's kids in the background, as per.
No, that's okay. It's summer.
Yeah.
Can you Blake Lively 2.0? Did you hear the beginning of the stream? I was up late reading about Rebel Wilson's case and how it's so similar to Blake Lively's.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And it's not the first time she's done that either. She did it with Sacha Baron Cohen as well. Like,
Yeah, so I was like deep diving last night, like just researching. I got all the legal stuff, like the legal paperwork to go over, like the actual, you know who represents her, Camille Vasquez, um,
Really? I
of
will
Johnny
follow
Depp
that
fame.
case.
I mean, not
Oh,
represents Rebel Wilson, but represents the producers that are suing her, and she's
yeah.
so badass in her paperwork. Um, yeah, it's a crazy, crazy story. I'm gonna touch a little bit on it on Thursday for the at CJ. How did I miss all this with Rebel? I know, me too. This case was
Right.
from June 2024, but it's just she just got sued by one of the production companies, not the producers. And it's from the UK. And you know how I'm covering UK cases on Thursday? Um,
No, I didn't.
yeah, well, I'll bring it. I posted it yesterday on X, the what we're doing this week, but let me upload the image real quick. I'm a little combobulated today because I started late. Laura's like, "This is coming from your producer," but I was like, "I was up late reading for the show."
Oh, yeah.
Um, but see, now I forgot what I was gonna do. You asked me. Oh, the image. Um, yeah, let me upload the image of what we're doing this week real quick before we get into more of the Blake Lively stuff because it seems like Andy has some news for us today.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen he's going to be putting out an announcement, so that's exciting. And then, Shasti was taken off they withdrew her subpoena, and then they withdrew spiritual shifts as well. So it's falling down like dominoes.
Yeah, but the thing is, they thought, and what I was saying before you came on is they thought that this was over and done with, and then it's not because y'all are like, no, you can't just dismiss and quash them.
Well,
They're
no, it's
still
just us five actually. It's myself, it's Lauren, Ashley, Ken's, and Cassidy. And the only reason we're like, hold on a minute, is because he wrote a letter which specifically referenced us, no one else, and implied that we had meet and confers where he's actually had them with other people, but not any one of us. And then suggested that, well, I've got the information I want now, so I'm going to withdraw these subpoenas. And it kind of gave this narrative that we cooperated or gave information and we gave her nothing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But you still were you not going to sanction her if she didn't say nothing, or was that like what made everybody want to sanction her because like she's
No,
outright
we
lying?
asked for sanctions anyway because the subpoenas were never going to hold up. They were not genuine. There was like she was just sat there, filing a request, a bunch of random requests, and not one of them, not even the subpoenas for the data for American citizens, never mind the Canadian or British ones. Not one of them was procedural. So I was like, you can't do that. So there was no intent really to have gone through the process seriously. And that is what we kind of say. It's like, well, I think this is a PR. I think,
Mhm.
she files these subpoenas, right? We then filed motions to quash. And then she's gone and snuck in on a Saturday, right? On a Saturday before the Monday that she's got to respond to Cassidy's. And she's like, yeah, Judge, don't worry about it. We've withdrawn it. You don't need to respond to this now. So can you? And she's requesting the judge deny our motion because it is now moot. And the judge is clearly going to say, okay. And for her, that's going to be a legal win. It's going to look like it's a win when actually what has happened here is we made a damn good argument against really bad subpoenas. And she had no choice. She couldn't have defended it.
Oh, okay. So either way, it was like what Anita said on our live stream. If y'all haven't caught me and Leanne's live stream, was it yes? No, it was Friday, right? We did a live
Yeah.
stream. All her thoughts and feelings. And Anita with she does the Anita's Theory website that she has with her theory on the Baldoni Lively case. And that was her thing was that this is all being done for PR. Everything that they do is for PR, and then it backfires. So not good PR.
No.
They need to hire Ashley. They need to hire Ashley. But so this is the schedule I put up yesterday on X. So we're doing Drake versus UMG today. We're going to talk a little bit more about Blake here in a second, just update everyone. and then get right into Drake versus UMG. Then we have Spencer Pratt versus Governor Newsom in the city of LA tomorrow. And then Brad Pitt versus Angelina, still whining. Y'all see what I did there? Y'all see what I did there?
Wow. Is that still
Uh,
going? It's been
that
going
is
for
still
years.
going. And so I just, kind of discovered it. I kind of knew about it a little bit, but it's just starting to get like tea because he's trying to get her private messages. And so I don't know. I thought it was like, oh crap, like now this is going into lively territory, Jen Abel territory. No. Um, so I thought it
Can
was
I
kind of
can I
cool.
join you for that one actually? Because I'm
Yeah.
curious, like why he wants her private message. They've been divorced for years.
Well, so he's basically suing her because they promised that they weren't going to sell the winery that they co-owned. So this is separate than the divorce lawsuit. This is so yeah, it's crazy that he wants the private messages for this, but I guess he's trying to catch her up in somehow saying that she illegally sold his half of the winery or something. Um,
Can they not afford to just like say, look, here's your half? But I don't. I think they're spending so much time on this because that was what they were whining about
like,
years
I
ago.
don't know, 4 or 5 year old case. It's a while. Like
I
this case.
know they're spending so much money on it. Like they're both going to end up taking a loss on this winery. I don't understand.
And so yeah, well, he doesn't no longer owns anything. It's neither one of them owns it, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm just doing like the deep dive reading because I was like, I never really paid attention to it. I'm like, whatever, he's suing her, but I didn't. I thought it was all done and over with the divorce. So yeah, there's been some updates recently, and it made me think how like the Blake Lively case feeds us because we see something on the docket like every day, every 2 days, and
Yeah.
other cases it could take months. Like the Rebel Wilson one that I was reading about yesterday, um, it takes forever for this case has been going on since June of 2024. I don't believe they've gone into discovery yet or anything. There was just a stay that was denied, and so yeah, and I haven't even deep dived into. There was a case where there was a copyright credit dispute. So I think that's where it started. It was like she wanted writing and music credits on the production, and there was some kind of dispute that went to court. So that's the one that I was looking for last night. I was like, oh, it's 3 in the morning. I need to stop. But I'm going to be researching it and doing a special episode on Friday night.
Okay.
So I was like, this is not going to be a morning episode. This needs like a nice little sit down. It's going to be a long one because there's so many twists and turns on it. It's so crazy. But yeah, so Thursday we're doing the legal wrap up with some new UK cases, and that was one of the ones I had was the production company that's suing Rebel is in the UK, and so yeah, I uncovered a couple of UK cases since 13% of my audience now. Shout out to the UK, and found out that I'm international. There's Philippines, and what else did we find out? There was Canada, a bunch of other countries too. So I appreciate everybody showing up. But here's the let me pull up the message from Andy real quick. So let me take this down. Sorry, y'all. Um, let me pull up that message from Andy because I was like, T. So he posted this today. Um, but the Google subpoenas wouldn't even provide. It was a reply to something, right?
Yeah.
Oh, because okay, so without a crystal ball is stating that Blake's team will drop her subpoena if she hands over her sources.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, please.
That's not true. I'm not being horrible, but that cannot be true. Andy said it himself, and I actually responded to that because I went especially to say that the Google subpoenas were asking for. They weren't even speaking to her directly. They were saying to Google, "Can you give same as mine with X? Can you give me this the person whose account this is? I want their name, address, their phone number, location, IP address, financial stuff. Yeah, deeply personal stuff that would have led on." Nowhere in there did it say, and can you also get me this person's sources? It wasn't going to go, it never was going to go that far. So one or two things has happened. Either, and I know she's had meet and compares. She's either told them, well, I've been reporting on this case and I have sources, and now they're like, right, well, we want your sources. Or that's not true. Or, what she is saying is not true. It's her sources if there are any, I've got nothing to do with this.
And so Andy says, yeah, the same thing, but the Google subpoena wouldn't even provide them with that. If they want their
No.
sources, why wouldn't they have issued a solo subpoena, which is what he got,
Yep.
which makes sense. As for me, I have a big update. My lawyers and I will be speaking out soon. Oh, so I thought it was today, but he didn't reply to Justice for BJS.
Yeah.
If it was today, I just assumed it was today. But I am so sad. I'm gonna stay tuned because he's one of the TMZ3 who are still in the picture.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up real quick. Let me see.
Yeah,
So
it sounds like they're mass withdrawing, at least the people who are challenging. So whether people have actually, like, there's obviously us five who filed a motion to quash, and then there's been a handful of others who didn't file a motion to quash, but did make contact and, or had lawyers, they were represented, and theirs have now been withdrawn as well. So it sounds like if you challenge the subpoena, they basically, cave instantly. No more. They don't even put up a fight. They just go, okay, we'll withdraw it. Again, obvious. Also points to no real intention to, find something that may be of genuine help to their case.
yeah.
Sorry, you'll enjoy my laugh.
No, I love it. And I'm glad that you got to join me because it's always so much funner with the co-host. So thank you so much, Leanne, once
No,
again.
it's okay.
And Chris was saying, like, her law license needs to be, and that's why you guys, try to get sanctions on her on Ezra, because yeah, it was a disgrace to the legal system. She had no reason to subpoena y'all. It says Ezra thought round 2 Van Sham. And yes, that's what Leanne was saying in the live stream, that she felt personally like Van Zan 2.0 because her name was missing a number at the end. And so she would have never, had it not been for Spiritual, who, got hers, and then, knew of Leanne and contacted Leanne, she would have never known, and they would have gotten her data.
And it's also because with the X ones, they never redacted the names of the other people. The Google ones, they did, so you couldn't see who else was on that list. But with the X ones, no names were redacted, so Spiritual was able to look at the names and see. So thank God for all of that. Otherwise, I would have completely missed it.
Yep. Hey, Carm, good morning. I love the nicknames. Yes, DFJ has nicknamed the TMZ3 the Google Sweet 16, which ended up, most of those ended up, as you can see in this image, those are all quashed. And we only have Without a Crystal Ball, and then Sweet and Salty Lynn and Spill Sesh. And so those are the only ones pending, but we know that Sweet and Salty Lynn, let me pull that video up real quick. She's going to be filing a motion to quash today. That was on Reddit. Let me pull it up in a second here. Sorry, y'all. Got my tabs everywhere today. I got Rebel Wilson on my mind. That's all I could think about. She's my new Roman Empire. Cause like, what the heck? Oh, here it is. Okay. So this was on Reddit. It says she withdrew subpoenas for only 3 content creators. There are still many of us filing motions to quash. And so in this video, she basically says that she's going to be filing a motion to quash, or it will hit the docket Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So she's already filed something. She doesn't mention if she's working with an attorney or filing pro se. Also, no mention of a request for fees, sanctions, or protective order. Folks in the comments are encouraging her to seek sanctions. She says Blake is using this process to silence and intimidate women, but she isn't backing down. So this is the girl who went to high school with Blake. And yeah, she ended up getting a subpoena too. And then we found out yesterday there's another person, Leslie G on TikTok, and who's actually a victim of DV. She posted this video, being subpoenaed by Blake Lively for calling her out about the way she spoke about DV on This Ends With Us when this was once my reality. And I should have probably said trigger warning. Sorry about that. but so she posted these pictures of, you know, the abuse that she endured as a DV victim, and now she's getting subpoenaed. And so yeah, so it's Leslie G on TikTok, and she
I,
only posted like 2 videos and basically was just like, you know, about the wearing your florals and stuff, how it was, uh, you know, that she shouldn't have promoted the movie that way. So
and
yeah,
nothing that we haven't all said and, you know, is absolutely fair. I reached out to that creator as well to see if he wants any help at all.
and she hasn't reached back out.
Oh no, I only did it this morning. I didn't know who it was, so because I've been so busy with our stuff, I had no idea all this was going on.
Well, that's great that, you know, you reached out to her and stuff because yeah, when I saw that I was like, okay, I thought most of the TikTok ones were, I mean, I do remember kind of seeing the 2 ones. I went back and did see that there's 2 actual like people, and then the other ones are more like news websites that you don't see like a front facing person running it or anything. Um, and then like 2 of them are like those ones that take, you know, content from somewhere else and reuse it. But yeah, when I found that she posted that yesterday, I was like, is everybody that she went after a survivor or a victim of DV? Because seems like that's, you know, a lot of the people that she did subpoena, which is crazy to me, especially that girl, because she only had like 1 or 2 videos of that, and the rest is like her and her family and stuff. So I don't understand why she went after her. You mentioned Kirsty Flaw is out.
Yeah,
She also made a video. Um, and then, so yeah, basically, let me bring up this one back again. The Google 16, we only have those 3 left. And then in the Twitter 20, you know, both Spiritual Shift and Leanne are out. There was a letter put in yesterday on Spiritual Shift at her request. She never put in a motion to quash, but apparently, you know, hers was also dropped. Because at first we thought that the ones that were getting dropped were the people who had put motions to quashes. But then remember Janessa, she she never did. She just, you know, hers just got dropped. And there's still nothing in the docket, but could it be because there was she didn't request it and because there was no motion to quash, there was like no need to put it in the docket or
I'm not sure, because well, spiritual shift wasn't she wasn't represented, and she's a lawyer herself anyway. So I mean, that doesn't mean she didn't, you know, couldn't have got a lawyer to represent her. But you know, I think she felt competent enough that she could have taken this on herself. Um, I mean, there's a bunch of people who were represented by lawyers who have been withdrawn, and there's nothing formal in the docket. For what reason, I'm not entirely sure why that is. Um, I don't know. It's
so we're gonna have to keep
hard
an
for
eye
me
on
to
that.
say, well, you know, as these people, the pro se people, is to let the judge know, look, I've let them out, you know.
Yeah, so the Twitter 20, most of those other accounts were suspended, and we don't know what's going on with the rest of the people. The TikTok 7 were also not identified, and now we know Leslie G, who posted yesterday. So, and she's still, as far as we know, you know, we haven't really seen any TikTok subpoenas other than what Fritz filed. And so we don't know if that's how she found out or what's going on with her. So hopefully we'll have an update tomorrow on her. If she gets back to Leanne or anything. The TMZ3 is still in play. We got Candace Owens, Perez Hilton, and Andy Senior. Um, and Candace is going to be interesting. I've had a lot of y'all ask me if I'm going to be covering the Candace Mcron. Maybe next week I'll get into it for next week's show. But yeah, a lot of people are saying that this could embolden Blake Lively to sue her personally for defamation because now that Mcron has. And so we're going to explore that a little bit next week. I pulled up some stuff of people saying how that could happen. And then Perez is just living his best life. He was at the Backstreet Boy concert this weekend. I don't know. He's prose, but living his best life, not really too worried about it, it seems like. And then Andy, of course, we'll get an update soon from him. So Let me check this chat real quick and see what everybody else is saying.
Perez done extremely well because what he has filed has been pro se, and he's actually, he's articulated it so well. It's always really good to see these people. They're taking interest in, the legal system and the court processes and everything. And then they have to apply that knowledge as well, and then they go and knock out the park. For people who have no education in law and how to draft documents, they do so well.
Yeah. So let's look at the chat here. It says the clip alone where she laughs about being approached by possibly DV victims should be on repeat. Like that was all her in her own words. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people did make content out of that because, it was so outrageous, and that's part of the organic content that everyone's talking about. Angel says she can't wait for the Mcron story to be looked into. I want to read all the paperwork and like really, really look into it because people are like, oh, if you read it, there was proof given to her and stuff, and um, but then I'm looking at other people's takes and lawyers and stuff, just kind of sleuthing the case out a little bit before I talk on it. But it should be interesting, and
I think the Mcrones are quite brave to do that. It's not because of Candace, because I mean, she's got a large following, but it's not like it's not impenetrable. This is the president of France, but the Mcrons have already lost one defamation case for this subject matter specifically. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
MNC is meet and confer, Carm. That's what MNC means, meet and confer. Please cover Candace versus Mcron. When I say I had so many DMs about my show on Thursday, on X, I had a bunch of DMs on X that were like, "Are you covering Candace?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, I wasn't really planning on it, just because Candace is such a controversial figure.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm staying away from it myself. I'm putting that
but
out there.
by request, I got curious. And you know me, what I'll do is I'll just cover. There's some cases where I'll just cover it one time, like Demore Hadley and Rock Nation. That's just because of Jay-Z and his powers and stuff. But um, which there has been an update, and I'm like debating. DFJ is here. DFJ is like, oh, I think it was a one-time thing, but okay, thank you. Spiritual shift requested lively
Yeah.
soon to file confirmation, so that's why it was. Yeah.
And notice they didn't file a bunch of irrelevant stuff. Like in the middle of a letter talking about the five of us, they're like, "Oh, and everyone keeps making fun of Miss Lively because of this phrase untraceable," which was actually Melissa Nathan's. Like one of the points I've made is, well, Lively has used it in every filing on a loop across the whole of America in multiple dockets. Forgive me for getting confused as to where it came from. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
No, get it off your chest, girl.
It just
And
seemed to be like it didn't fit. It was put smack in the middle of a letter talking about us five specifically, and that, well, we no longer need this, we've withdrawn the subpoenas. But right in the middle of it is, oh, and by the way, everyone's picking on Miss Lively because of the use of the word untraceable. It wasn't her, it was Melissa Nathan. It's like, well, that does not fit. It makes no sense. So
it's just, and I know that you put a little bit of snark sneak peek right in your letter
oh,
about the untraceable stuff, but
yeah.
yeah, I'm always like, untraceable means untraceable. If it's untraceable, then you're never gonna be able to trace it. I don't know. And it's like she's looking for this stuff and she doesn't even know where to start looking. She just kind of like randomly, like you said, threw metaphorical spaghetti against the wall to see what
Exactly.
stuck.
And
Um,
I know myself in particular, and Lauren. Oh my God, Lauren! I'm not going to give away what it is, but our responses to the untraceable, the comment about untraceable, they are so funny, both of us. I'm sure that someone is going to be having a chat back at Manat, going, "Why the hell did we open the door to that?"
yep.
So, watch
Yeah,
out
and
for that, everyone, when that drops. Funny.
I
So,
am so waiting for some badass, more filings because when it comes from, the team, I'm sad. Like I'm waiting. I'm watching the docket. Like when are these letters gonna hit? Um, and so the episode today is called "Legal Trouble?" Question mark because is Blake Lively in legal trouble now with this? Like, did she dig her hole a lot deeper when it comes to her case? A lot of people I saw on TikTok were making videos about like, will this lead to a settlement? Are they going to move for summary judgment? Baldoni's camp, does this affect her case at all? Because in the case of public opinion, it's like, do you still want to keep going? Like, what else can come out of this? Like, there is already so much bad publicity, and DFJ says, I want the judge to have to read the motions to quash, and that's exactly kind of the point. I believe, Leanne, you attached your MTQ to your letter, right?
Sorry?
You attached your motion to quash, your MTQ
Yeah, we
letter?
are attaching our motions to quash to the letter to make, because there's no way that Ezra Hudson can say, "Oh, don't worry, you don't need to read this," to these letters specifically. There's no vehicle for her to do that. But that's what she did with the motion to quash. She's like, "Oh, you don't need to read it." So we are attaching our motions to quash. They're relevant anyway, so attaching them is not improper, but they will now be put in front of the judge, and there's nothing that Ezra Hudson can do about that.
No, nothing. It's just, I mean, he's going to have to read it. It says, how did she pick
Yep.
who she sued? Yeah, it was basically just random. We don't know yet. There hasn't
We
been
never got an answer. Every single one of us are going to be saying and giving, various bits of evidence. Like, we asked, why us? Where did our name come from? But no one ever got an answer to that. I don't even think the people with lawyers got that answer either. Sorry,
No,
you might hear Miss Rachel.
oh no, that's okay.
Yeah.
She said, or no, you were saying that like no, nothing was ever given, even the people with lawyers, like the reasons just still, they keep saying it was to fill in evidentiary dots. That's like the closest answer we got, which was in Lauren's email.
Yeah,
I
but
believe where they said, we're trying to fill in evidentiary dots. Or no, that was in the statement.
there's a statement,
Maybe
yeah.
that was
And
given.
they filled in nothing because they got nothing. They walked away with, nothing other than a pile of, crap on their face, egg on their face. And like there was nothing there at all. So,
And
but now they're kind of trying to say, well, we come out of this with something. Yeah, you have, a absolute roasting is what you've come out of it with.
mhm. And, one of the things that, this is Ashley's lane, but one of the things that I thought about was that morning where they quashed everything, it was actually starting to trend on Google when you hit Blake Lively, like just her name and looked at news. It was, the top stories were um, that she was going after content creators, whereas before, all week long, it had been about Selena Gomez and, you know, her not being invited to the party. And I found this interesting because the day of the motions to quash, there was this article written by James Seidel. And when I researched him, he like has defended Alex Murdaugh and said Alex Murdaugh is not guilty. And he's super problematic. Not the type of person that you want on your side. He's had some, SA allegations against him and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, so he wrote this article, Blake Fights Back. And this article was just obviously written by ChatGPT, which is another thing that people say about him. He's got a whole Facebook group the Facebook group is just outing him on like who he really is and stuff like that. So I found that and I was like, okay, so this guy's writing about it. And at the end, it was just so there he is, James Cito. But one thing is clear, Blake is not backing down, and neither are the content creators. But he basically makes it seem like this isn't about silencing content creators. It appears that Lively's intentions are about identifying what she considers bad actors, some anonymous, some monetizing the drama, who might be operating with a different agenda than just covering the news, according to Lively's filings. But this was never said. So, anyways, I could tell it was written by ChatGPT, but yeah, weaponizing their platforms it says there are subpoenas by Lively that is overreach or the only way she can get to the truth. Multiple people have alleged these fake accounts dox, bully, or weaponize their platforms or attack those with differing views, including other creators, victims, and journalists. And so he's saying it's sock puppet accounts and stuff like that under the guise of commentary. So yeah, this article was such BS. And then it came out around that same time. So I don't know. And
It
he's
was
from
no, it's complete. It is complete rubbish. There's been no fight. If there was a fight, then she could have responded to the motion to quash, but she knew she couldn't justify it, so she just went, "No, do
She
you know what?
said there
Never
was no
mind."
fight. She retreated. She retreated.
Period. Oh my god, she ran waving a white flag. Like I've never seen anyone cave so quickly. And she wouldn't negotiate. She did arrange a meet and confer with me. Yes, she did do that, but I had to cancel because my little one was in hospital. But she didn't try and negotiate another one. And I did say to her, look, I'm sorry I can't make it, but hey, I've only got 2 questions. Here are those questions. If you could answer them, and I'm more than happy to answer the questions you might have. The next thing I got was, we've withdrawn it. Here's the notice to X. Like, there was no fight whatsoever. I have never seen such cowardly behavior.
And they thought that it would just go away. And the creators are continuing to fight, even though they've won this battle. They're continuing to push forward and are saying, no, look, this is sanctionable. There was no reason ever given. If they had given a reason and it was like, oh, okay, well, that reason makes sense. But there is no reason. And for that, that's abusive process in their eyes. And so, by all means, they do have the right to file this stuff. And they're using their legal rights, to fight for themselves, to have a voice. And I mean, I, for one, we said it last night on the show. I'm actually going to play it at the end of this show. DFJ made a little snippet, and I'm going to play it of, what it meant to stand up to bullies. And it tied it into the Idaho 4 case in Kaylee Gonzalez, one of the victims who wanted to, in her memory, her sister said, to fight back against bullies. So I'm going to play that at the end of today's show.
Can I just also clarify a misconception as well? I think is floating around, particularly amongst pro-lively, but just in case anyone thinks this. Them withdrawing the subpoena did not get everything. It didn't get everything that we wanted. The motion to quash, every single one of them, we asked for sanctions for doing it in the first place, and a protective order. Because if you look at her letter, it says, we have no need to obtain further information at this time. Well, that leaves the door open then. Like, are you coming back? Are you going to try a different platform? Are you going to serve me personally and go through the process? Which, in my case, I laid out, well, you needed to do all these steps. You didn't. So this is invalid. Now is she going to go and do that? So we asked for things like a protective order to say, look, she needs to go to the court and get it signed off by the judge before trying another subpoena on us. And she needs to be sanctioned because this was a complete waste of my time, everyone else's, the other 4 people, and the court's time in fighting this when she clearly had no intention of going through the formal process. It was, it was like, well, I'll just throw this out there and see what I get. And I literally said it, like, she sent these subpoenas and then crossed her fingers. That's what happened. And so we didn't get everything. So her trying to say, well, this is all redundant, it's all been settled now because we've just redundancy. No, we had other requests.
Yeah. They always use tricky language at this time. Exactly. And that's why it was like, we need clarification. They didn't think the list would see the light of day. So in a nutshell, they lied because they had 4 content creators on a list. Yeah. And thank you to Kevin Fritz for, putting it all out there. Like, this is who it was. These are the subpoenas. Nice and clear. Not smudged.
To quote Friedman here, as he said when, like with when he redid his amended complaint after I sent him the metadata, like he gave us a little nod, so I'll give one back. Thank God for Kevin Fritz.
Thank God for Kevin Fritz.
I'm passionate. I've only just finished writing it, and I'm still kind of like I'm pissed off.
Well, I mean, your last one, remember, it was so great. So I'm looking forward to this one. She wanted to drain people. Yes, she did. Weren't these subpoenas her excuse to extend the case schedule? Wow, Gigi, that is a good point because she did say that there was something, right, at the last
Mm,
hearing where she said she wanted to extend because she was still that's where we heard the number 60 subpoenas. She was still in the process of filing 60 subpoenas. So yeah, you
yeah.
might be right. Judge, I'm not entertaining them. Well, he didn't have to read them because they got quashed. But now,
Oh, you talking? There's that person's talking about Cassidy. The judge made a comment. I'm not entertaining it. If it, you have to apply for anonymity by going through a specific process, and that's it. That was the wording the judge used. So
okay.
it didn't sit well. Put it that way, and
Yeah,
rightly so.
DJ. They were still issuing subpoenas is what they said. Yeah, so you could be right. It was just maybe a tactic to delay everything out. So that's the latest on Blake. If y'all want way more tea, we did spill a lot on Leanne's stream. If Laura or Christina, well, Christina's not here. It's early in the morning. Laura, if you can drop Leanne's link in the comments so people can go check out her channel. If you're not already subscribed to Leanne, go ahead and subscribe to her channel. And yeah, she had
Thank
a lot
you.
of tea on that stream. We went over all her feelings and the process of um, what went down after the motion to quash and all that stuff. So it was a nice little stream. The deposition is scheduled for this Thursday, so we're going to be keeping an eye. And all week long, while we have all these other cases, we're still going to be staying on Blake's neck because it's always something with her. So we'll still be reporting on it and see what's going on. If Sweet and Salty's motion hits the docket, if the letters
Mhm.
hit the docket, all that stuff. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on it this week. We're gonna move on to Drake because his whole case might be moot because of what just happened over the weekend or last week. Um, so for those not familiar with the case on Drake, um, the case is Drake filed a defamation case against UMG for the lyric in Kendrick Lamar's song "Certified Pedophile," and um, he basically so here it is. It says, why is Drake suing? Drake initially filed his complaint against the company by suggesting that the false allegations contained in the lyrics of the song have damaged his reputation. In turn, by promoting the song to such a wide audience, Drake says that UMG is responsible for defamation. Originally, I believe he had sued Kendrick individually, but then he ended up withdrawing that and just suing UMG instead. And I believe a lot of people believe that the reason for that was because he didn't want it to seem like he was going after Kendrick and like a rap beef sort of thing. Um, and so that's why he went against UMG. But it is spicy because he has similar claims. If y'all haven't watched the video, Subpoenas and Smears campaign in my lives, we did a video on it and it explains how, he believes that there's a use of bots by UMG similar to Blake. And it's funny because Michael Gottlieb also represents him, Blake's lawyer, saying that there was these bots that, promoted the song, that the song wasn't really as popular as, they make it seem. But to me, I'm like, it's a catchy song, the beat and everything. Says, in response to him bringing up the Super Bowl, UMG's lawyers wrote in their motion, Drake concedes Lamar's Super Bowl performance did not include the lyric that Drake or his associates are certified pedophiles. The focus of Drake's new claim that the larger audience for a Super Bowl halftime show ever did not hear Lamar call Drake or his crew pedophiles betrays this case for what it is. So they're saying this is a case of Drake's attack on the commercial and creative success of the rap artist who defeated him rather than the content of Lamar's lyrics. Um, so they said nowhere in the 100+ page legal blather written by Drake's lawyers, Michael Gottlieb, that's who wrote it, legal blather, they bother to acknowledge that Drake himself has written and performed massively successful songs containing equally provocative taunts against other artists. Nor do they mention that it was Drake who started this particular exchange. So he's saying, he started the rap battle. Apparently, Drake's lawyers believe that when Drake willingly participates in a performative rap battle of music and poetry, he can be defamed even though he engages in the exact same form of creative expression, which reminds me of, Miss Blake Lively. So originally I was kind of not on Drake's side, but then he dropped this song and now I'm like, it's funny how Ashley talks about how PR works and I'm like, that new song, it was just such a banger. But I'm looking at it more closely to see like, is UMG going to be exposed because they're saying this is the year where like the film companies get exposed and the music companies get exposed. And so I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen. So this is what he's suing for. I'll link this whole document for all you legal nerds that want to read it. It's 81 pages long. We're not going to go through it, but his claims are for defamation per se. He's saying UMG published, caused the publication of, and participated in the publication of, and could have reasonably foreseen that its action would result in the publication of a series of false and defamatory statements of fact about plaintiff, including by and through his agents. And so they're saying that the lyric in Kendrick's song, um, "Certified Pedophile," is defamation. Given that rap for as long as it's been around has been used as a tool of not necessarily facts. And we'll get into the funniness of what the judge, how the judge was taking this case. It's Judge Vargas. She's female. It's hilarious. But basically, they're saying these are the statements that he has a history of engaging in pedophilia and sexual relations with minors, that he engages in other sexual criminal acts, including sex trafficking, that he is a sex offender or engages in acts that would require him to be registered as one. And the cover for that song, Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, I believe it was a map of Drake's house, like the sex offender maps when you like Google to see who lives around you. And there was one of those symbols on his house. And so that's where C stems from. Harbors in his home individuals who are sex offenders or engaged in acts that would require them to be. So it also talks about his crew in the song. And so that's the first one, which is defamation. The second one is harassment in the second degree. And then you have violation of the New York general business law because both Kendrick and Drake are represented by UMG. So that's where it complicates it. So he's basically suing his own label. He's saying, y'all didn't promote me because basically his contract was about to be up, and he alleges that they tried to ruin his rep so that they didn't have to pay him as much because he wouldn't be worth as much because Drake is bigger than him, this or that. And so they're saying that this was like some kind of collusion, and this is all allegedly. I got my little bar. So that's what he's alleging. He's alleging that UMG promoted Kendrick. He did, what's called payola, which is paying radio companies to play the music, which has been around for forever. And but he also says that they engaged in bot farms that were amplifying the fact that Drake is this and Kendrick is better than Drake and all that stuff. And so here he says, the payola engaged pay for play at New York radio stations. So that's where the business one comes in. And so those are what he's suing for, and the relief, punitive damages, and all that stuff. So I'll link that, and there you have it. Look, Michael Gottlieb and Meryl Governsky from Wilkie Farr. So that's who's representing him. I'll link it at the bottom for those who want to read the full filing. But now this is where it gets the legal trouble part, which is today's show. It says, court should reject Drake's dangerous assumption that rap lyrics are factual in the case against UMG, scholars argue. Oh, wait, we haven't gotten to it yet. But so basically during this time that, he files this, there's an amicus briefs, the amicus briefs of a group of academics who urge the court to dismiss the defamation case. And because they basically go in and explain the history of rap and the history of hip hop. So it says the UC Irvine scholars largely agreed with the assessment that Drake's defamation claim rests on the assumption that every word of Not Like Us should be taken literally as a factual representation. And I'll link the full amicus brief also in the description for anyone who wants to read it. It says this assumption is not just faulty, excuse me, it is dangerous. When rap lyrics are admitted as evidence in a case, it's because they are treated as literal. This in turn opens the door to racial bias, stereotypes in the courtroom, as empirical studies have demonstrated. And this came up in the YSL trial as well, where they tried to do that, bringing up his rap lyrics. Treating rap lyrics as literal also threatens First Amendment speech protections, and the practice already has created a demonstrable chilling effect across the industry. They argue that diss tracks are understood by audiences not to represent factual assertions about the opposing artist, but rather to demonstrate skill and dominance, build allegiance, and win competitions through clever wordplay, hyperbole, blusters, and demonstrations of disrespect. And so it's kind of like, it started with like the dozens where you would kind of say things about the other person. We know the movie 8 Mile is the same way. You're kind of taking things from a person that may or may not be true and just trying to win with the different back and forth. And so what just happened a couple days ago, it says the OVO docket is where I would say you would get the most information about this case, at OVO docket. If you don't follow them, they are more on the Drake side because I believe they're Drake fans. But from what I've seen, they've kind of reported pretty much everything, and not unbiased because they do believe that UMG is in the wrong. Um, but this is where I get a lot of the information from, and then I can go and research any other aspect of it because obviously you don't have UMG fan pages or nothing, creating dockets or anything like that. So this is where I get all my information. It says, in what appears to be a desperate point at avoiding accountability for their alleged misconduct, UMG Recordings and the Grammy Recording Academy are backing lawmakers' efforts to ban rap lyrics from being used in criminal and civil trials. So before, they were trying to do it for criminal trials, but now they're saying civil as well. And it came July 24th, so a couple days ago. The Restoring Artistic Protection, or RAP Act, was a bill introduced in 2020 aimed to prevent prosecutors from using lyrics as evidence in criminal trials. The bill failed to pass. Lyrics, like all forms of speech, continue to be used as evidence in trials when permissible. Lawmakers have reintroduced the bill yesterday, seeking another attempt to get it passed. And so, if this gets passed, then all of Drake's legal filing is moot because it's all based around the lyrics. And so that's where I was like, oh, this got spicy because, um, if they can get this to pass and, trial is next year and the law passes before the trial, then, it basically makes his whole case moot. And somebody here commented, that Drake actually signed that letter initially in 2022, right? Um, so, like how, now he's what, saying no? It says, Ovo clarifies, no, Drake signed a letter, but he did not advocate for a bill. And he did so when the focus was on prosecutors not using lyrics in criminal trials, not civil. So this is a civil trial. Um, and so, yeah, so this is the tea on that is going on. Um, and the story is that, major music industry companies and organizations are once again throwing their weight behind this proposed law. The U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday reintroduced it by Georgia Democratic Rep. Hank Johnson and California Democratic Rep. Sidney Kumlager-Dove. The bill will change the rules of evidence for federal courtrooms, making song lyrics inadmissible unless prosecutors can meet strict criteria, such as showing that the lyrics were meant to be taken literally. And so that brings us to what the judge was saying, and I love this. I tweeted it. I said, I'm loving Judge Vargas and Drake versus UMG. She says, shouldn't I view the entire rap battle? So they were in court for the hearing on whether this is going to be dismissed or not. And the judge was like, hold on, hold on. Before we start, should I view the whole rap battle as a whole? And then she starts off with, and I'm just, I put a teary face. She's still dissecting the rap battle. She starts off with a tailor-made freestyle. So he's talking about him liking young girls. How would I draw the inference that the lyrics mean anything besides Drake goading Kendrick Lamar? And then Gottlieb responds, because Not Like Us was treated differently. It was not treated like tailor-made freestyle. Not Like Us was made ubiquitous. And then Judge Vargas responds, I'm asking you, what other possible meaning could the court draw from those lyrics in tailor-made freestyle? Because he basically tries to 8 Mile himself in his song Tailor-Made Freestyle. Like, what are you going to say? You're going to talk about me liking young girls? That's a gift for me. Like, here, I'm handing you something to talk about. So he kind of like tries to, what they call like the 8 Mile, like, this is all the stuff that you have about me, and I'm going to say it before you say it. Um, and it doesn't necessarily have to be factual. It's just, what you can say about me or what you think you're going to say about me. It says it would require the court to assume Kendrick knew the song would become a huge hit. If two people are arguing back and forth and one says something that goes too far, I can't disregard the entire context of the argument. And Gottlieb responds, this is a matter to be evaluated at a later stage, such as a trial, not at the motion to dismiss stage. UMG republished the song, introduced it to new audiences. UMG knew at various points in republication that the allegations were false. UMG itself removed the song from the context of the rap battle. UMG's own exhibits show that that even the press interpreted it as a real criminal accusation. Not Like Us does not reference any of the previous rumors in the song. UMG's exhibits show that. If those exhibits are accepted by the court, we're fine with that because it proves that the audience was susceptible to the connotation that Not Like Us is intended to convey the false, and this is weird, the false factual allegation. Like, that's a double negative, that Drake is a pedophile. And so it was really interesting. If you follow the OVO docket, you can see the whole interaction between the judge and Gottlieb. And so now we're on watch for Judge Jeanette A. Vargas' decision on UMG Recordings motion to dismiss Drake's amended complaint. There's 3 claims: defamation, harassment, and then the violation of the New York law. The desired outcome is full denial of UMG's motion, or denied in part, granted in part. And this is obviously the desire of OVO docket. Denial or partial denial of UMG's motion means the case can't proceed to trial. There is no set date of when we can expect the decision. The moment we know, you will know. And so that's where we're at. Let me go check the chat. Let's say, yeah, no way he's representing Drake. Yes, he is. So, no problem. Just snooping. I know I went a little bit over with the Drake case. Sorry about that. Let's see, what else did everybody say? The first beef to end in a lawsuit. Yeah. Drake said Kendrick abuses his wife and that Kendrick's producer fathered one of his kids. So Drake is being a baby about this. And yeah, and so that's what they're trying to argue, is that, there was also stuff that was, not factual in there. Original visualizer video has what you are talking about. Cat Williams said all will be exposed this year. Yeah, he did. And so that's why I'm like, is it really UMG that, has bad practices and Drake is right? But maybe that's just because I really like the new Drake song, and I'm like, I really don't want. And at first I was like, I don't want Drake to win because he's represented by Michael Gottlieb. So right off the top, I was like, by association. He seed UMG, and Drake named some of the CCs who reacted to the battle as well. Oh, I didn't know he named some of the content creators. Drake UMG targeted many content creators on here also. UMG spammed content creators with copyright strikes, trying to get content creators banned. Huh. So I didn't know that about UMG. I actually thought that one of the arguments that he made was that they took like the songs. Usually you can't play a full song because you get a copyright on it, and that UMG, for Not Like Us, took all the copyright off of it so that content creators could make content using the song. And so I believe that that's what he was arguing about. Thank you so much, Christy. I know I went over a little bit. Much love to all. So yeah, let's see. Gottlieb is arguing to sue for hurt feelings. I mean, that's what it seems like. Where is it? Why? 100% Drake is mad at UMG because they did for Kendrick what they've done for him in the past decade. If it was on DatPiff, we would still be at the same result. And I mean, yeah, did he ever get boosted over other artists? So it's gonna be one to definitely watch. Annie says Kendrick Lamar is the GOAT. Hey Doc, can I get a drop? The year of recording of reckoning. Oh, the year of reckoning. Yeah, that's what they're saying, that everything's gonna come to light. So thank you everyone for the comments. Says Laura, how is it one way for one client and different for the other? Yeah, the irony. Yeah, that's what I thought. When they talked about how Dead or Nice Pool was not considered defamation, it was parody. But Leanne explained that, as lawyers, they can fight for different sides. So it's the same way as how Brian Friedman was fighting for FKA Twigs. Laura, squabble up. I love it. So that's all the show that I got for y'all today. Let me put up what we have in store for this week. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Spencer Pratt and Governor Newsom, which is so juicy because it starts off with him suing the city of LA in January, and then things get more spicy as he realizes that a lot of the money that was raised for the Palisades and the fires did not go to the people who needed it, and instead went to nonprofits, one of which Gavin Newsom was involved in. And so they end up getting into a tit for tat over social media, and now he is staying on their necks. So we're looking to see where his battle with LA is at and what it entails, whether the case has legs or not. We're going to deep dive into the actual legal case. I have the paperwork and everything. And then obviously Wednesday, we're going to go into this, already been going on for years, but I thought it was spicy. Brad Pitt and Angelina over the winery. And then we're going to do a legal wrap up, which a bunch of new cases and some that are stemming out of the UK for all the UK listeners. So we'll see you guys back tomorrow. Leanne, are you still here?
I am. Sorry, I've got a sore throat. I am. Okay. Sorry, there's a baby crying in the background. I apologize.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I was going to say, I'll join you on Wednesday, actually. And sure. Here's me inviting myself. Yeah, if you're okay, I'm happy to join you.
You're invited every single day. So I always send you it's always the same link, and you can hop on any day because I love you as a co-host. And that one's gonna be for sure interesting. It's so much tea. Once I deep dived into it, I was like, okay.
I can try and join for the UK one as well, because obviously that's my backyard. I will be I'm going on holiday, so I will be kind of like traveling. I'm not driving though, but I can't promise it's going to be like, I'm going to be in a quiet environment, but anything but.
And no, I want you to take like the full vacation, like I want you to enjoy yourself. This has been literally, Leanne is one of the people that has not stopped since the beginning, since January. A lot of us have taken breaks here and there, but I don't believe Leanne has, even when you had your surgery and stuff, you were still on deck putting up threads and stuff. Because I know I took a 2-week break at one point and then another week break at another point. But you have been go, go, go. So this is a well-deserved vacation for her.
Yeah. It is my first, actually, to be fair. And you're right. Even after the day after my surgery, I made a discovery, posted it, and ended up in all over the news. So you're right. I didn't think of it like that. I really should make more time for myself and my family.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you get wrapped up. Luckily, I started covering all the other cases, and then now I have like multiple Roman empires. So I kind of strayed a little bit away from, me doing Blake research and stuff. But I felt like we need to go all the way back. Sometimes I feel like we need to go back to the beginning and restart it all over again because, Andy has been talking about the August 8th date and how like something's fishy about that. Y'all go check out Andy's channel. He has a great video, and I'm going to touch on it at some point, probably next week. I'm waiting to see if he makes any more content around that.
I think you're right. I think you make a really good point though earlier, because you're like, many cases, like I'm doing a bit of a side piece with the 7M one. And, like that's been going on for years, but like it's only now gaining some legs and making news. And there's like you say, there's other cases like Brad and Angelina, Rebel Wilson, and they've been going but quietly in the background. This one started in December and it's hit the ground running, and there's literally not been a break. There's been no period of quiet about it at all. So, and it's really unusual when you look at like the norm of what, even the Johnny Depp case, like not really much happened publicly. Even though it was going on behind the scenes for a few years, not much happened publicly for a long time. And then it gained traction because things were happening publicly. But this one, the Baldoni and Lively one has not shut up. It has not slept, and I know this because I haven't
You
slept
haven't
with it.
slept either, yeah. And, even, like, with the Diddy case, a lot of it wasn't even filed into the docket until, like, later.
Yeah,
It was a bunch it was like a flood of filings, like, right after he got sentenced. It was like, um, you know, they all of a sudden started filing everything into the docket, or there was stuff that was sealed that we
yeah,
couldn't get into, and so we've been very lucky, with the transparency in this case where we're able to see the docket, and, it is annoying that they're, posting every, day, every other day, something new. It's always something.
yeah. And even the sealed stuff, though, like we should not know about that, but we are hearing about it in this case because not that we're seeing it, but they're having like scraps and sending letters back and forth. Even over stuff that's sealed. Like, well, we want it unsealed. Well, we don't. you know. So we
Mhm.
know that, or even all about that stuff, which we really should not be hearing about that. And the only time you hear about it is when there is an argument, but they argue over everything. They're like toddlers.
Yeah, it's so crazy how many stuff has hit the docket. Someone's wondering when the deposition is taking place. That's on Thursday, and I want to
Yeah.
discuss that a little bit on tomorrow morning show, and dive a little bit more into these theories. I have a couple of videos of people who are theorizing that,
Yeah.
that it might not happen. That this might either settle, or that she might find something else to not go to the deposition. I'm a firm believer in the fact that, um, I think that it's gonna go all the way. I feel like Ryan's not gonna wanna settle,
Yeah.
and they're gonna take it all the way to trial. Like, at this point, I don't feel like no one's gonna budge.
I
Um
think she's going to the depot as well. I will say that. I think she's run out of rope with the judge now. I think she's had her way. She's had all the adjustments she wanted. In that way, although I was a bit kind of like, oh, he's given into that, really. But actually, in hindsight, I think it works in Wayfarer's corner, to be honest, because it's not a big deal. It's not something that's going to materially affect the outcome of the trial, but it's also given her less to complain about. But I think, I'm amazed she didn't wheel out the "I've got strep throat" excuse.
Oh my gosh,
But
the amount of times, in the legal paperwork, I'm like, take a shot every time she gets sick. I'm like, "I'm drunk already, I'm only on page 2."
I,
Um
but I think she I would like many people. I think if she doesn't go to the depot, then there is going to be a settlement talk because she's got no legs now for any more excuses to avoid any more depositions. So I think she's going, and especially given because the next day, let's not forget, the lawyers all have to be there anyway. So it's worked out nicely because we've got the the hearing on the Friedman subpoena,
Oh, yeah.
which is going to be, we will all eyes will be peeled onto the oh, what's his name? The Matthew, for the for the tweets on what's going on because we won't get to hear
Inner
that.
City Press, at Inner City Press.
Yes,
If you don't follow and have your notifications on, y'all need to do that because he is boots on the ground at the SCNY courts. Any
yeah,
hearings or anything like that, he is live tweeting,
yeah,
and he's the first to know on anything like that. And come
and he
trial, because it's not going to be televised, you might as well bookmark his page and follow him. I don't know if Laura can link in the chat at Inner City Press on X, but yes, that's the
he
go-to guy.
he's got a rare privilege that he's one of the very, very, very few people that's approved to publicly report on what goes on in these courtrooms in New York. So, um, when we've got hearings like that, which is it's not technically behind closed doors because public can access it, but unless you're physically present, then you need someone like Matthew to who's going to give live tweets as it goes on. And I will caveat though, the tweets sometimes they might misquote something. It's incredibly rare, but it's just to be open minded to how fast he's typing because they're talking in real time.
Mhm. I mean, from the Diddy case compared to the transcripts, they
Yeah,
were super accurate, but,
yeah,
the only thing is that there would also sometimes be missing, context in between, but that's because he can't type everything. But,
No.
for me, from reading his, tweets and then comparing it to actually reading the transcripts, most of it was super, super accurate, and if anything, it was just missing, a little bit of the context around it, and so there, Laura linked his,
But
it's just Inner City Press on X, and
it's
we
a, it's
thought we
a
were gonna go to the courthouse actually in March, huh?
no.
We've been
I mean,
planning, we're like, "We need a trip to New York."
yeah. Well, I said that I'm happy to come over and meet up with a bunch of content creators who worked on this case, who we all
Mhm.
worked with, and go for dinner and then head to the court. Or
Yep.
vice versa, go to the court and then go and get some dinner and a few drinks afterwards. Um, that would be
And how long is it
absolutely
gonna be,
awesome.
you think? Diddy's trial was what, 6 weeks?
I think this
That
is
was
going to
a
be
criminal
weeks.
case, so I don't know how long would this case, do you remember how long the Depp v. Heard case took?
Yeah, it was about 8 weeks, but they had both the claim and the counterclaim still in
Oh,
situ at the time. Now we've lost the counterclaim, or it is a technically a counterclaim. Wayfarer's claims are no longer in play. Whether they do something different, I don't know, but they will be proceeding forward only on livelies. I anticipate somewhere between 3 and 6 weeks.
okay. So yeah, it would be a long one to stay there for the full trial, but we'll see. We'll see when March comes around, see what happens. I want to shout out to I Am Hooked on the Daily AMCJ show. Thank you. It's a celebrity court chatter, so but I love the Daily AMCJ show. I like that. That's cute. Um, Big CO Music, thank you for the support. I love it too. I like, talking to everybody, and me and Leanne chatting it up every morning, because a lot of these cases, if you missed it or if you weren't here from the beginning, I was up until 3 a.m. trying to read the Rebel Wilson case, because I was like, it is so similar to the Blake Lively case. And it even has some Depp v. Heard on it, because she had another lawsuit in 2018 where she supposedly got money for defamation from a publication, and then later on, a court of appeal said, like, well, your trajectory was not that uphill, like basically dissing her, say like you weren't gonna make all this money. It was like $4 million, and he's like, I'll give you, 600,000. And then from that, she had to pay the appeal fees for the publication, so she ended up not getting anything. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's so funny," because it reminds me of, Amber Heard when she owed the money and stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna deep dive into that one on Friday night. So stay tuned. I'll post it on the community. Um, I just found out YouTube has like the little community, so I can communicate with you guys there, or check me out on X. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe so you can get the notifications. And it's normally, if I'm on time, Laura was like, you need to be on time, is at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. And it is 6 a.m. Pacific time, which is a little early, but you can always catch me on Replay Crew. Senti says, I can now see them settling. JB is going to want them to make a statement that exonerates him if they do.
He
Yes, I
needs
think he
that as
said
a
it.
minimum. Even if he goes without all the money, he needs something in writing, to say, this settlement is not an admission from me. And she's got to say, I did nothing wrong. I did not do any of things that she accused me of. Anything less, then the lawyers have not acted in his best interest.
Yeah, not at all. Like, it's basically, um, he has to have that. He has to have the retraction or something, because, and that's why I feel like it'll go all the way. It's like,
Mm.
if he doesn't have that,
Well, she's got and I don't mean to be horrible here, but the one thing I've noticed with this, right, you look at the way she come after us content creators, it was like, you said bad things about me. And I actually reference this in my life as well, is the chink in her armor is her ego. So I can't see her admitting fault, taking responsibility, retracting a single thing. I don't see it at all. Because not only she got to then walk back the false accusations against Wayfarer specifically, but the fact that she utilized all those domestic violence charities that she's been parading around, peacocking the fact that she's, I'm going to speak for women. I'm a voice for women. She's got
mhm.
to walk all of that back. But if she puts a statement out to say, yeah, okay, I made it up and they didn't do anything. That's not happening.
Someone says she's gonna blame it on Stephanie, but I'm gonna send you guys over to Ashley because I believe she's streaming. She was supposed to start at 10:30, and with Leanne, I think
She's not.
Oh, she's not? Is she not
No,
streaming?
she's not. We're working on her letter now. So
Oh, okay. So I don't
it's
know if
too
we
much because
send y'all
today's the deadline. So we've got to get it today.
Okay, I don't have anybody to send y'all over to today. But stay tuned. You know, all your favorite creators are going on. My favorite creators. We have, eventually I'm going to create a little creator TV guide because we have Zach Peters who's coming up today. I think at 11:30, and then Dana comes on at 1:30. So I do want to get like a little image of everyone and their time slots during the day because I put them on the big TV now. Someone in the chat once was like, I just put it on the big TV. So I just put YouTube on the big TV and it's like watching them on TV. You just, do your chores or whatever. And if you want to get on the chat, you can use your phone to get on the chat or whatever. But, putting them up on the big TV is always fun. So I don't have anyone to send you guys over to today. Please be sure to check out the Objection Celebrity Court Chatter community on X. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We have 31 members. We started with 8, so it's growing, and that's where I put updates and stuff. Yes, Zach is usually 11 PST, but he can go anywhere between then and 12 p.m. If the deposition is scheduled for Thursday, it would not surprise me if she had an attack of appendicitis. Jill at 3:30 a.m. Jill, stop it. Stop it.
Garden variety appendicitis.
What if you're not on Twitter? Will you be covering what, Annie? I have a community here on YouTube, so I also will post it on the YouTube community. If that's what you're talking about. Oh, Kirsty just put out a video. Okay, so I'm gonna head over there to get some tea, and we'll probably discuss it on the show tomorrow.
And we're gonna probably, if CJ, if you want to, maybe probably tomorrow because I am really too tired now because I have to stream quite late over here to kind of get to the American audience. But maybe tomorrow we could do a reading of my letter. It's only 3 pages.
Yes, I love being on the on your streams, especially when you're reading stuff. It's always a good time and fun, and I like to hear it from you. Like the first time that I read it, I like to read it like in your voice because it's always, better. I was a little bit disappointed with the. I know Lauren said she didn't want to read it because she doesn't like the sound of her voice, but I love, love, love the sound of Lauren's voice. I love
Yeah, I do.
when she laughs about anything. She can laugh about anything, and I automatically just start laughing. Like she's got one of those contagious laughs. The girl who did the reading was really, really good. Her voice was similar, they were saying, to Cassidy.
Yes, it was. It was very, very clear and articulate and, quite smooth and easy to listen to. I did enjoy that. But I agree, you need Lauren's voice to
Yeah,
the
because
humor element.
the voice that she put into it, her filing was so good because she had, a lot of her voice in it when she said that her self-proclaimed dork in there. Some people were like, oh, you shouldn't have put that, but I love that. When I saw that, I loved it.
No, I think that was absolutely. I mean, she's pro se. She can put this stuff. She doesn't need to adhere to formalities, and she's conveying how she feels. So it's not offensive for her to speak like that at all. In fact, I think it's a good thing for her to kind of show, look, I'm, orchestrated smear campaign. I'm not even any good with money. What are you talking about? I think she did a great job. And then this second letter now, I think she's filed hers already today, very recently, so that will appear soon. Again, she's done a great job. It's so funny. It really is funny.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out her filing, go to her stream on her channel. Laura, last link. I know I'm putting you to work today. We keep saying we're going, and we're not. Laura's gonna link it here. If you're not subscribed or follow Lauren, one of the best things that we've said on this channel that you can do to combat, what's going on in the Blake Lively subpoena gate with content creators is go support your content creators. Lauren was one of the ones that got subpoenaed. And if you want to, yeah, I love the dork comment. It's humanizing. Yes, I did. And it's so Lauren too. Like you could see the whole filing. It was so Lauren coded, and as you were reading it, you could almost hear it in her voice. But yeah, so if you want to, while you're cleaning up today or just around the house, the live reading was really good. Go check that out on her channel. Laura just linked it. And we're going to end the stream with a little something, a little ode to Leanne.
Oh, really?
Yes, a little ode to Leanne by DFJ. She made this short video of our
Oh.
stream yesterday. We covered Brian Koberger. If y'all don't follow my true crime stuff, that's in the evenings, and it comes on at 8 EST. Tonight, we're going to be covering the new evidence in the Brian Koberger case. We're no longer calling him by his name. I think we're calling him by his inmate number, 163214. The families don't want his name to be out there and all that. So we're going to be doing a show on 163214. And last night we did a show on something I'm doing on Sundays. It's True Crime Faith Talk. And Leanne came by. She stopped by. Bless her. I love it when she supports me because it's so late over there. So when she can come on my night channels, it's, I always feel just so honored. So she came on yesterday, and DFJ actually put this little clip together. Kaylee Gonzalez was one of the victims of the Idaho 4, and her sister requested that in memory of Kaylee that, what can people do? People can stand up to their bullies. And so, I get chills just watching this. So we're going to go ahead and play this as we head out. We appreciate Leanne, and this, kind of shows the effort of the content creators and everything that's been done to stand up to these bullies. We're going to keep covering Blake. Stay tuned tonight, like I said, for more on the 123614. That'll be at 8 Eastern, and we'll see you guys, if not in the True Crime show tonight, we'll see y'all in the morning.
Speaking of facing the devil, I mean, not saying that Ezra Hudson's the devil, but Leanne and Lauren and Ashley and Ken's and who's the other one? Cassidy. I feel like they really embodied what Olivia was saying in that interview with Brian Enton, where she's like, you can honor my sister, you can honor Kaylee by standing up to bullies. And so Leanne, oh my God, I'm almost gonna cry saying this, but I just feel like I was so proud of everyone this week.
What do you think Kaylee would want in this moment? How can people remember? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It could be something as simple as, standing up to your bully, and I know that seems small comparative to murder and violence like this, but it's not. That's such a life-changing situation for so many people.
Leanne and everyone is standing up to a bully, and I just felt like, I know you have to do it, for your own reasons and everything, but it also made me feel like it also kept Kaylee's spirit alive this week,
Yeah.
Thank you all for stopping by. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.